weren't originally.
Well, without retcon, how about Kamala, the perfect mate? Mold herself to any man who desires her. Of course, who do you think came up with that script, a man or a woman?
You have 700 hours to retcon. You only have 6. Get to work.
Well, I'm sorry, it's 12 hours, 6 movies.
I think this kind of comes back to the whole idea of, with Star Trek, we're talking about a basic hypocrisy here. I mean, yes, equality for all. Women are equal to men. Hot, green-skinned chicks. Guys, you can't have it both ways here,
Actually, you can.
As Star Trek has proved to us, but there's a certain level of hypocrisy there. Star Wars has never claimed to be anything but
a Saturday morning cereal.
A really fun adventure.
If you're debating who is in charge, have you ever been married?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so who was in charge? On the Enterprise, as we heard several times, the crew complement is 2/3 men and 1/3 women. In Star Wars, we have Princess Leia, who serves in the Imperial Senate. We have Queen Amidala, who's a woman, succeeded by yet another queen. No kings in this lineage. The guys
are duly elected queen.
The duly elected
they have democracy.
The guys are out rampaging around the galaxy, killing things, and yes, we fully admit that. But it's the women who seem to be running things.
Go.
Okay, one thing I want to make.
They don't run things in a very proactive way. They're sort of in the background running things, but they're not out there doing it.
Well, you don't really notice the people. You don't really notice the people doing something until they make a mistake.
All right.
That's in general.
Yeah. As far as not running things, I'm sorry. Leia's the one who grabs the gun from hand, blows the hole in the wall, and goes, "Get in the garbage chute, Flyboy." While they're standing around going, "Oh God, we're screwed."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she had to wait for them to come get her out of the jail. If she had been a real woman, she would have gotten out herself.
Okay.
Yes,
Here we go. We want to talk about women who are really in charge.
Not really, but
I will.
Okay, in charge. Okay, and so all these efforts of Star Wars and all the women are there, but you have one woman who speaks one word and makes the Federation Council do whatever they want. T'Pau. Okay, now we're talking. That puts Mon Mothma to shame. I mean, she doesn't even have to leave her planet. She just sits there. Whatever she says, they do, and they do. Then they're all like, and all the men in the world, they say, "Yes, ma'am." Done.
All right, we're almost out of time.
Janeway, you've met the girls.
We've just got a few more minutes left, so let's try to wrap up.
Merchandising.
We'll get to you. Yeah.
Who is the consumer? The PhD or the kids? If somebody wants to make money, whether it's Roddenberry or Lucas, who are you going to target? The internet with the books or the toys with the kids? Think about that. Who's going to want to make the money? Gene Roddenberry is saying, "Oh
If
no."
you're worried about money, they win.
Yeah, but
I'm not worried
I'm
about
not
money.
saying that. But you're saying merchandise.
But we are. We win.
Part of this thing. Who's the consumer? As you said, books and PhD and kids. You gotta realize who's gonna. Nobody ever wants to make money. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, the consumer merchandise is the kids. You don't want kids to read books. Kids don't want to read books. They want these little action figures.
In the gray shirt.
Well,
Kind of surprising, I think. Well, just the difference in storytelling, at least my experience between Star Wars and Star Trek, was in Star Trek, it always felt like everything or anything is possible, to the point where the only limitations were writer-induced limitations. Like, you have a transporter or teleporter or whatever, so if that would solve the problem and end the story prematurely, we've got to come up with shields and you have to modulate it. It's like, to me, it feels like in Star Wars, like you could have things that just cannot be solved, kind of things. Like, in Star Trek, there's no, it doesn't feel like there could ever be a Gordian knot that can't be,
Oh, definitely. Star Trek lives Deus Ex Machina.
And they live by the mystic side.
They live by what?
well,
The mystic side.
And they don't have to be in opposition. They do not.
Like
You're making the opposition. They can live comfortably together.
Like, oh yeah, and because the shields are there, then we won't be able to use the transport.
Exactly. Anything is possible until it breaks. As opposed to there are some things we just can't do, and we're going to have to learn or find a way. Yeah. Now, are you saying that's better for Star Trek? That makes Star Trek better or Star Wars?
Yeah, wait,
better?
before we agree with them.
No, we can just corrupt his point.
Like, if anything is possible, nothing is interesting. You know,
True.
and like the only, everything is possible in Star Trek until the writer says, okay, if this is factually possible, we can just solve this whole problem by teleporting everybody off the planet before it blows up. All right, so there's some kind of a thing that prevents the teleporter from working, so we'll have to take the shuttle down to pick them up.
Don't fixate on the goal. Enjoy the journey.
Okay, we've got like 2 minutes left, so really brief final comments.
We win.
I was going to swap off. I liked Star Wars. It was.
Let's switch sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
No sides.
Super briefly, because we're almost out of time.
I liked the hero's journey as outlined by Joseph Campbell. It transcends peoples, it transcends continents. Everybody understands the hero's journey, whether he's alone or whether he has a group of people behind him. But it is always a tale that can be understood by almost anybody in any language. That here is a man going out and fighting for what he believes in, whether it's a federation or whether it's against an empire as a rebel. It's a tale understood by almost anybody.
I think leaving out the Galactic Federation, which is really far off, I think Roddenberry's biggest failing is he set it too far in the future. I think we can get to the Star Trek world much sooner than he thought we would. Mm-hmm. And that's a really nifty idea.
Yeah. And I think the great thing, they're both very valid, because Star Wars, in a sense, winds up being a story about this is the way we are, and Star Trek is the story about this is the way we can be.
This is a goal
and
we
they're
can
both
achieve.
good things. So.
You as an individual can achieve your goal. Us as a species can achieve our goals together.
Give you an interesting point. Went on a cruise back in October. They had a special event there, basically an activity, a Star Wars and Star Trek trivia contest in one of the lounges. About 35 people, 40 people showed up, gave out prizes and things like that. They had 30 questions. No one got below 20 on both sides, because they had Star Wars and Star Trek. And everyone was enjoying it, and mostly everybody got it. It's ingrained, both are ingrained in the culture, and essentially, whether you like Star Trek or Star Wars, it's what that gets you through the day and helps you to cope with life.
If you have to walk through the subway station thinking you're a Jedi, or if you have to walk through the subway station thinking you're a Starfleet anthropologist, if you get through the subway station, you've achieved your goal.
And on that note, we're done. Thank you.
Good job. Yeah. Gentlemen,
That was fun.
Nicely
done.
done. Very nicely done. Congratulations.
That was cool.
we did pretty good. That was
cute.
Nicely done.
Really
Nicely
enjoyed
done.
Thank you.
Good job.
That was
Great
fun.
job.
So I
have flyers.
Don't forget your 10.
From the Draco Vista Studios in Phoenix, Arizona,
All systems stable.
Take one.
Dude, our brains have to be broken to do this.
Well, I guess golf is better than Lake Placid, too.
Oh, okay. Do we have Whovian news here?
You say geek like it's a bad thing.
Flash.
Stop it. Stop it.
And now the news.
Think science fiction has nothing to do with your life?
What?
Think again. It's Slice of Sci-Fi.
Roll sound.